Hi guys, and welcome to this week's vlog. I'm back in my favourite place on this planet. I'm back at the Isle of Skye. Right, so the idea of this video is it's another tips video. Just look at that behind. Just seriously, look at that behind. Right, the tips I'm going to give you now. I meant to be filming all week, by the way, but we've had a bit of a challenging week, shall we say, with the weather. So I've not been able to get my vlogging camera out. It's very difficult to vlog when you're in a workshop. I find it a little bit disrespectful, but yeah, it's been a little bit challenging. So I've got one day to try and cram in a whole vlog. I'll go around a few different locations, but more importantly, this video is all about tips that you guys on my Facebook group have offered me. So I've chosen the best, probably around about 10. Some of them are obvious tips, some of them are clever tips, and some of them are very funny tips. I'm not sure, I'm not going to do it in any order, except I'm going to choose the best one last. And I'm not sure. One of them is a food orientated tip, and to be honest, it's really tough to beat that tip. A food orientated tip whilst out taking pictures is always a big one in my books. But I'm probably going to be tempted to go for a sexist tip that somebody offered me. Credit everybody that's offered me a tip, and I think the idea of this video really is I'm going to read out the tips that I've chosen, and I'll give you my opinion of the tip, whether I think it's a rubbish tip or whether I think it's a good tip, whether I use the tip, and anyway, it'll all make sense. Let's get on with the video. Enjoy it. Interesting one from John. John says, if you need words to explain your image, your composition or perspective has not worked. I get what John is saying. If you need words to explain your image, I'm not quite I think that means that what John is saying there is that if you produce work and then you have to write about the image, then maybe the story within the image hasn't worked. I'm a little bit okay with that, John. That's okay. Yeah. I'm just walking up to my next destination, and the light is just bouncing and glistening off the side of that mountain, and I've got my 1 to 400 mil lens on my back. Just got to stop and grab it. Maybe that should be a tip from me. Handheld photography, handheld landscape photography. Don't dismiss it in any way, shape or form. The wet side of the mountain is being lit at the moment by the sun. Side lighted it, and it's just glistening and it's gorgeous. So as long as I'm able to show some form of context and size and perspective and still stick with my rules of thirds, then it still works. But that's not on my list of tips that people have offered me, but certainly handheld landscape photography. Why aren't you guys advising that? Ooh, mwah. Great tip from Tanya as well. To see if a composition has enough contrast to work as a mono, squint your eyes, which is what I'm doing now because I'm trying to read this without glasses. If you squint your eyes, this helps to see light and dark rather than colour. Squint your eyes. Definitely agree with that one. Definitely a good idea, and it's a good idea as well to look at your pictures to see if there's anything that's overexposed in the image. Let's say, for instance, if you have a subject matter, then in theory the subject matter should possibly be the should be the brightest part of the image to draw the viewer's eye into. So in other words, if you've got a subject or a subject matter and it's much brighter over here or much brighter over there, the chances are that the viewer will look here and look there before they look at the subject matter. So some of you might agree with that, some of you might disagree with that, but certainly in the world of entering images for competition, it's an important one. Squint your eyes so that you see contrast rather than colour. I like that one, Tanya. Nigel's tip: remember, not all YouTube experts are.
I agree.
Remember, not all YouTube experts are. Have I said that wrong?
No, some just think they are.
Remember, not all YouTube experts are. I've said that right. Some of them are just people whose egos have grown beyond their knowledge. Read that out, Gaz. What does that say there?
Obviously, present company excluded.
Cheers, Nigel. I like that one. And that's so. No, that is so true. I'm leaving it there. But that is so true. Don't believe everything you hear on YouTube. Not all so-called photography experts are. Thanks for pointing that out, Nigel. Hope that wasn't a dig. In case I look as if I'm rushing, I am, because you can see the weather's in and out, and I'm really trying to cram in all of these tips and a whole vlog in one day. We've got a few more locations to go to, but basically it's park the van up, wait for the rain to stop, get out and about and go for it. Already it's starting to rain again, so let's have another one. John, great tip by the way. I do like this one. I think this featured on my tips video that I shot. I think I was in Harrison Lewis last week, but last year should I say, sorry. I'll leave the video up there, so go and check that one out, because that's probably a bit more serious. Well, no, not really, but you might want to go and check that one out there. Okay, so John says, you learn more by studying images that have not worked than looking at those that have. Learn how to self-critique your work. Self-critique your work. I've done it throughout my whole career, and especially throughout my whole photography career. I still do it now. I still take wedding pictures, and sometimes I get very excited by wedding pictures, sometimes I get disappointed by wedding pictures. Landscapes, exactly the same. So it's something I just can't stress enough. You have to do. Self-critique your work. You learn more from it. Okay, right. Excellent. Welcome to the Isle of Skye. Natalie reads, slow down and let the landscape speak to you so you can capture that story for your viewers. So I think the key to that tip is slow down. Again, I think I'm a great advocate of that. Absolutely slow down. I tend not to do it. I tend to rush around like a mad fool. Interesting one from John, and this applies to pretty much anything in life really. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. A generalized tip. Good, isn't it?
I like that.
Hey,
I like that.
Hey, my viewers.
That's good.
My Facebook group, excelling themselves. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yep, John, I like that one. I like this one, Rob. Enjoy the location that you are in and don't take the iconic shots all of the time. Photograph the details. You might surprise yourself. Well, Definitely agree with that. Not so much agree that I know what you're saying. You're not exactly saying don't take the iconic shots, because I believe that you should take the iconic shots, but then of course once you've done that, try and create your own composition of a well-known place. Look behind you, look around. I like the tip about shooting the details. I've just done a video on that as well just recently. But yeah, you can be very, very surprised if you look around at the smaller details and not necessarily always grabbing those big vista shots. Yeah, move away from the honeypot locations, but if you go to a honeypot location, grab that shot, grab it. Next location, a woodland location. Just check that woodland location out behind me. How awesome is that? Got a great tip from Nora. Nora, thanks for this tip. Simple, keep it fun. Don't turn acquiring a capture into an ordeal. So just think about that for a second. Keep it fun. Don't turn acquiring a capture into an ordeal. I've got to tell you, I'm the world's worst for that as well. I go out and about and I try my best to grab a shot, and I get very upset if I don't manage to grab the shot. So even I need to learn from that as well. So thank you very much indeed, Nora. Love that tip. While we're here, let me give you another tip as well. Such a fantastic place, and I'm here to see if I can grab a shot in the woodland, because people don't come to the Isle of Skye to grab shots of woodland. But woodland photography, everybody tells me, is very, very difficult. Now, to a certain degree, woodland photography is, because and I've made videos on this as well. Quite simply this, woodland photography isn't difficult at all. But just think about this for a quick second. You come into a chaotic environment and you've got to try and make sense of it. So you still have to have foreground interest, background interest, preferably. You have to have a route through your image for the viewer. But more often than not, people will just walk into a bog standard woodland and think, how on earth do people take pictures in woodland? Because I can't seem to find a good composition or a shot. Well, that's exactly the same as going and shooting landscapes. How many times do you go to a boring, mundane place to shoot a landscape and come away and it's semi-lukewarm at best? You know, and chances are you won't even put it on Facebook to show it off or throw it on Instagram. Well, it works the same here as well, because there's lots of boring landscapes to photograph and there are lots of exciting and brilliant landscapes to photograph. I mean, hence the reason that we come to the Isle of Skye twice a year. Well, this is no different. Walk into a boring woodland, rubbish. Walk into a woodland that's exciting like this. Mwah! So don't beat yourself up, and really, practice makes perfect. That wasn't one of the tips, by the way, but just while I'm stood in this most amazing green moss covered woodland, I just thought I'd share that with you. We run out of light and we run out of weather, so we're gonna have to continue this vlog in this amazing place that you can see behind me called Glencoe. So, welcome to part 2. Excellent top tip from Daniel. Go out and shoot and make no excuses. Make no excuses. Get out there and damn well shoot. Cheers, Daniel. Love that tip, Alistair. Absolutely fantastic. If the weather gives you lemons, shoot lemons. You never know. Oh, it's got to be said, that is a top draw tip. In other words, you know, don't be lazy. Might be raining, but rain brings clouds. Clouds brings drama. Drama brings black and white. Whatever. It just goes on and on. Absolutely love that one. If the weather gives you lemons, shoot lemons. You never know. Interesting tip from Jack. Spending 2 hours in one place perfecting one shot is much better than running around for 2 hours taking 200 shots. I know what you're saying there, Jack, but I'm not 100% with you on that one. I do like to grab a shot and then move on and grab another shot and then grab another shot, but I totally understand. Slow down, take your time and make sure you perfect one shot as opposed to taking 200 rubbish shots. That I understand, but yeah, interesting tips. I'm sure some people will have their own ideas about that. Got a cracking tip from Nigel. And we all know somebody that does this. If you can't get a decent image, buy a new lens. It says here, it won't make a blind bit of difference to your ability to take a good picture, but at least you can get it wrong with a slightly different perspective. So there you go. That's tip stroke, maybe some advice. Yeah, so that's true. I do it all the time. If I get a lousy picture, I just throw my lens away and buy a new one.
That's a fetching look, Gary.
It is a good look, actually. Thanks to Mark, by the way. Good tip, Mark. Take a shower cap with you in case of wet weather. Never go anywhere without my shower cap. Good tip.
I'm also Mark. Another top tip. Tesco's or your own brand, large freezer bags. Great for covering up the camera when it's raining. Like so.
Yeah, I think it was really handy how you demonstrated how to put a bag on a camera. Have you ever woken up, looked out the window and thought, do you know what, today is just going to be one of those miserable days? But then, as you arrive at your destination, you realise that for once, all the stars have aligned in your favour. Next tip. This is from Gary. Love this one, Gary. This is my second bestest favoritist. Are you ready for this? Number 1, make sure your batteries are charged. Stand by. Number 2, clean your lenses. Number 3, carry additional SD cards. But number 4, always pack a bag of pickled onion Monster Munch. Should that have been number 1 in my top tip list?
Yeah, number 1.